Hello everyone, Linda Israel here, and I have a gel press plate that is from Gel Press. It's approximately a 5 by 7. It's not a very big one, but I've been playing around with it and I thought I would show you some ideas and tips with it. I've got some decor and DIY paint from Tattered Angels, which it now comes in 2 sizes. It comes in this larger bottle, and now it comes in a smaller 1.35 ounce bottle at Tattered Angels through Canvas Cork Brands. So I thought what I would do is I also have some Ken Oliver's color bursts. So I have yellow, Prussian blue, and sap green, as well as the liquid metal. So I'm just kind of play around here with this with some book pages just to see what it looks like. So I've got the paint here, and just a tip, don't open your paint over your jelly plate because it will usually end up leaving crusty bits. And since I don't really have a way to pour, I'm just going to use my paintbrush and put a couple of blobs on here and set this aside so I can use it again. And then I have an old gift card, a credit card, or a room key card. This happens to be one of those coupon cards, and I'm just going to spread this out on top of here. Apparently I didn't get enough paint because it's really going thin, so I'm going to add some more paint like so, and it makes a mess. I also have Ken Oliver's little watercolor mat underneath my gel press, so that'll help with cleanup because I can just take that thing to the sink and wash it off. And then I've got some bubble wrap here, so I'm going to do a couple of techniques. I've got a large bubble wrap, so I'm just going to press that into the paint. And then what I'll do is I'll press that to a book page, so that will give me another print over here to the side that I can work off of. So even though you clearly probably can't see all of this on there, it transferred some of the paint that was on the bubble wrap. So this will be kind of interesting to do as a resist a little bit later. So I kind of have a neat color thing going on here. So I'm going to take some of this Prussian blue and just put a few drops on here. And then it's not a normal application of paint, but I have some Tattered Angels Glimmer Mist that now I have lost. It was laying, oh here it is. I've got some Tattered Angels Glimmer Mist, and this is precious metal. So it's a pearlescent look to it, a little bit of gold in it, and I just love the way it works. And this is going to help activate the color burst, and I'm spraying probably more than I need, but that's what I want to do, is add a little bit on here. And I'm adding now some of the sap green and just letting that kind of meld together. And I'm just going to take a book page and lay it on top of here and press it with my fingers. So it's going to have lots of yummy color on here. And I'm pressing it really well. You can use a brayer at this point to really make sure it adheres to the page and then lifts off some color. So that's got a neat look to it. I still have a little bit of color on here. So I'm going to, let's see what happens if I do it again. So I picked up a little bit more, but it didn't really get down to the DIY paint. So it seems that maybe it's a little drier here working with this. I've used the DIY paint before on the gel plate, and it seemed to work really good, but today it doesn't want to transfer because it seems a little dry. So let's move on and see what other things that I can add on here. I have the first color I was using was Sterling, and this one is Cerulean, or Cerulean. Let me open this one up. And I'll just use a different paintbrush to transfer some paint. And I'll use my card again to smear it around. This time I didn't spray it with the Tattered Angel. I just went straight down with the paint. And that turned into a really cool plate. Isn't that neat? It had the bubble wrap texture, and then the blue kind of came through. So you have to remember, whatever color you put down first, that's what's going to be seen on the front side, and then the other colors will be in the background. So I'm going to try doing it just with the blue again. Let's smear that around. Some of that color burst is still on the plate, so every time I add paint, it activates it. So let's see what happens now when I use the bubble wrap. So we got a cool texture there. Let's pick up some of this paint just to see what it looks like. So now we have kind of a reverse where you're seeing the white areas of the text come through, and then the blue is solid. So let's try a couple other things. Let's see what happens if we spray the plate with different colors of Tattered Angel's Glimmer Mist. So the first one I sprayed was Precious Metal, and then I have Teacup and Turquoise Blue. So let's see what happens. Now it's going to bead up on the plate because it's so liquidy, but I'm okay with that. I think this is going to have a cool effect. And I'm going to go back to this first page, or this second page, of just the bubble wrap pressed to the paper. And it's going to pick up all that glimmer mist and give it a neat iridescent effect. And I think there's enough that I can do it again. So I got some neat transfer of color on there. So let's do some more of this pink. Let's see what happens if we just go straight to a page without any paint. So that's a different effect on the paper. I don't know, a lot of this is just playing, trying to see what we like, what is coming out to be really cool looking. So now I'm going to add the blue and the sterling together. I'm probably using more paint than necessary, but you know, I don't care. I just want to have some fun here. And I mix the two together, so we've got a neat marble look going on here. Let's use a different bubble wrap. And I've got another texture here. And I've got just a book here that I'm just ripping the pages out of. And I'll place it on here and see what it looks like. So that has some cool texture. It still has some of the pink on here. I've got the paint. So we've got some neat textures going on. There's still a little bit of paint on here, but I'm going to add just a little bit more. Let's do the bubble wrap again. Let's do some of this texture. Now let's see what happens. I'm going to spray this with a little bit of the Glimmer Mist. And let's see what this looks like. That's kind of cool too. I like the texture that it has in there. What do you think? Fun? Wouldn't these make great pockets to put in a junk journal? You can kind of see the text, but not completely. You'll be able to write on this as well. And these dry really fast, so I'm just throwing them over here to the side, and they dry really quickly, so I don't have to worry about if they're stacked on top of each other. So you can get some really cool effects just by playing. And I could probably do some of this just directly onto the mat as well, but I wanted to see how the gel press reacted with the various paints. I hope you enjoyed seeing just some playtime. You know, have some fun with your art. Get the paints out, get the sprays out, get your tools out, and play around and see how it turns out. Well, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and of course, subscribe to my channel if you haven't already subscribed. And then lastly, comment below. Let me know what you thought of today, and how would you use these prints in your art today. Thanks so much for watching, everybody. Have a fabulous day.